are basic necessities like food, house rent, utility bills eating up most of your paycheck? Just how many times have you denied yourself the luxury items on your wish list, thinking that next month maybe things will be better? Putting in those hours at work, working overtime just to make ends meet, waiting on that promotion, thinking one day your increment will finally catch up with the inflation. If this is how you have been feeling, you are not alone. 99% of the world's population is in the same boat as you, and the remaining 1%, well, as infuriating as it may sound, it is simply getting richer by the hour, even as I speak to you. I have some figures for you. Have a look at this Oxfam report. It says wealth worth $42 trillion has been created worldwide since 2020. Now, how would you expect the distribution of this wealth to be? Take a wild guess. We all know that poverty is imminent worldwide. The distribution of wealth is skewed. So it goes without saying, certain groups are way better off than the others. But to what extent? How staggering is this inequality exactly? Now, let me tell you, the richest 1% of the world grabbed nearly 63% of the new wealth that was generated, meaning out of the $42 trillion, they bagged around $26 trillion. And the remaining 99% of the world population was left with breadcrumbs. They made nearly $16 trillion. What does this mean? That global inequality has gotten worse. The signs are all around us. Ordinary people are making daily sacrifices. They are cutting back on daily essentials, compromising on their physical and mental health just to get by. The super rich, on the other hand, have outdone even their wildest dreams. In the past decade, the richie riches had captured around half of all new wealth. But in the last 3 years, they have further tipped the balance scales to an astonishing level. The wealth of the world's 10 richest people doubled during the COVID-19 pandemic alone. The same pandemic that sent global economies toppling, the one that killed millions around the world and left million others hungry, homeless, and in crippling debt. It is unfair, but it's true. Wealth continues to travel upwards, from those who needed the most to those who needed the least. Let's look at some more data to put things in perspective. Since 2020, for every dollar earned by a person in the bottom 90%, a billionaire has gained roughly $1.7 million. Billionaire fortunes have increased by $2.7 billion every day, and this comes as inflation outpaces the wages of at least 1.7 billion workers. Extreme wealth and extreme poverty have increased simultaneously for the first time in 25 years. When you struggle to book economy air tickets, these billionaires traveled in their private jets. When you worked overtime for a little extra pay, these richie riches of the world enjoyed endless vacations. And when you saved money for a new dress or for that vacation, they bought designer jackets for their pets. Now, it's not my intention to upset you, but to simply highlight the widening gap between the rich, the middle class, and the poor. You see, household wealth optimism is already collapsing in the world's biggest economies. According to the Edelman Trust Barometer, economic pessimism is at its highest in the United States, the UK, Germany, and Japan. Barely 2 in 5 people believe that their families will be better off in the future. Higher income households still trust institutions like the government, business, media, and NGOs. And why not? Their needs are being met. They are pampered, spoiled even. But the alienation is rife among the low-income groups because they are on the receiving end. According to an International Labour Organization or ILO report, the working class could be forced to accept lower quality jobs this year as if they were not already struggling. Global employment growth is expected to slow down to 1%, and this would be half of the growth in 2022. The number of unemployed people in the world is expected to rise by 3 million, taking the total figure to 208 million in 2023. It's clear working conditions are set to get worse. Inflation will eat into real wages. There is a mass economic divide among the population. But what is anyone even doing about it? Can this widening gap ever be bridged? As bizarre as it may sound, the poorest people in many countries pay higher tax rates than the billionaires. For example, Elon Musk, one of the world's richest men, paid a true tax rate of about 3% between 2014 and 2018. Meanwhile, an ordinary flower vendor in Uganda makes $80 a month, but pays a tax rate of 40%. 40%. Is there even a way out of this infuriating inequality? According to experts, taxing the super rich and big corporations is the door out of today's overlapping crises. Wealth somehow trickles down to everyone else through tax cuts for the richest. Now, there is no doubt the billionaires have worked hard to reach to the top, but they have also indulged in crisis gains in times like the pandemic. The gains which were driven by public money and profiteering and systemic and wide-ranging increase in taxation can counter it. It is estimated that a tax of up to 5% on the world's multi-millionaires and billionaires could raise up to $1.7 trillion annually. And this money is enough to lift 2 billion people out of poverty. It's enough to fund a plan to end global hunger. A simple increase in taxes for those who have millions of dollars in dispensable income can make all the difference. But would it be implemented? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.